Hi there, welcome to Prime Time. I'm Paul Orford, and today I'm here with Raj Reddy. You've probably seen Raj a million times in Game Changers magazine. He was one of the first people to really come on board with the idea, and it's been really interesting to see the growth of the LSSR Group from being something that's quite well known to being really well known. It's fair to say now, isn't it? Now, the nature of today's vlog or podcast, or whatever you want to call it, is the key for what everyone's looking after is Southeast Asia, how to get into it, the most fastest, efficient way to really tap into one of the biggest markets in the world. So Raj, what would be step number one for you?
If I talk about Southeast Asia, the market is very competitive and it's very broad right now, like before. Before it was Europe and stuff, but every broker right now look to penetrate into Southeast Asia because of the volumes that are coming in, the number of traders that's getting in, right? So the best way would be, from my point, would be Malaysia. So you can get a license from Malaysia, and you can operate even from Malaysia because that's a centrally placed, located in the time zones for trading. And it's also a beautiful thing for you to get your recruitment, people to come in there. You have multi-nationalities, for Chinese market, it's very big, and you can get Chinese to recruit there. And you can get Thai, you can get Vietnam. So these are all the South Asian market, like India, for example. You can still get them there, and you can centrally place your brokerage. So the license in Malaysia is like Labuan license, which is going to get you there, and it can actually allow you to operate and penetrate into Southeast Asian markets. And I see that's the best solution at the moment. Other ones I don't really think that effective, but this one is most effective, yeah.
All right, cool. So could you explain what a Labuan license is? Because it's not like a license for Malaysia. Is that correct? It's which is something a little bit different.
Right. It's not from Malaysia. It's from Federal Territory of Labuan, which allows you to take the license and do business across Southeast Asia, yeah.
All right, so how hard is it? Let's say, for example, I had Paul FX.
Right.
For me to open up in Labuan, what would the steps I should take? Apart from going to you first, of course.
Yeah, it's not very, very hard at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a typical process. You need to have experience in FX. That's very typical right now because you're dealing with client friends and client things, so they want to see the expedite. That's the first thing. And the second thing would be to meet the capital requirements, which is not very heavy, which is minimal there. And these are the two basic requirements to apply. And we can just get the rolling. And the time that takes about typically 2 to 3 months. If everything is good, if you are a broker which is operating already, it can be very quick as well.
Yeah. What's the banking like then if I get this license? Can I get the banking and PSPs on the basis of this?
Yes, you can get. These days to get the payments is very tough if you're unregulated. This is a proper regulation, it's regulated properly. You can get a bank account in Maybank in Malaysia, and it's one of the biggest banks as well to get it. Yeah. And PSPs, no problem. We have seen no problems with PSPs working with Labuan license.
All right, because one thing that's always kind of frustrated me when people have told me to go look for a license, is that, or when they've come to me, is that they've always tried to beat you down on price. Yeah. And what I found with this is if you pay for an amateur, you really find out how expensive that is.
Right.
So I think a key thing with this is to pay that little extra, go to a professional like yourself, where you can give them value-added services. So what type of extra services would you give to rather than the average, say, $2,000 flat fee lawyer?
All right. We are typically a different company rather than any other licensing companies and stuff, right? Because we are not only licensing company, we take care of everything that the broker would need. Probably they need an office in Malaysia, we take care of that. They need staff, we take care of that. They need visas, we take care of that. This is not with other licensing stuff. And the cost may be different. I cannot comment on the cost because it depends on the expertise. And sometimes people sell maybe a little bit less, but it's just an entry price, and after that there are a lot of costs. Yeah. So that's one other thing. But for us, it's to include everything. So we know regulatory body how it works. We know what to do at what point of time, and even we know before we submit what is the ratio that the application. We can go back, correct it, and we don't waste much time. We go forward. Otherwise, if you have an amateur, for example, he's going to wait until the regulatory body is going to come back, so it's going to take a lot of time. The lot of time costs you a lot of money, but at the end, at the beginning, it's very less.
Yeah.
But you see, when the amateur goes, there are penalties. Everything goes far.
Well, it's a real good description of the cost versus the value.
Right.
If you are kind of penny pinching at this stage, maybe opening a brokerage really isn't for you, because it's really worth investing in your foundations, whether that's your trading software, your legal background, and so on and so forth, to give you that threshold for later on where you can really take off and build your business.
Yeah, absolutely. That plays a big role. Running a forex brokerage is not a small thing. Maybe it looks like small, anybody can start it, but it's not a real thing to stay very long. You need to be experienced people in the industry, and that's how the cost goes on. So it's better always to choose the expertise people into that, rather than just looking for the cost for the beginning, and then you end up in the problems.
Well, I think that's where a lot of the problems have come the last 4 or 5 years, where people just think you get a platform, get a PSP, and away you go. But it's so much more complex than that. Do you get that a lot yourself when people come to you and they don't understand, the whole ecosystem?
Yeah, we do get a lot of inquiries. To be very honest, we get a lot of inquiries, and then they say it's very complicated, but they don't understand the process. That there are a lot of things into it. They need to comply. They just look for okay, I just paid. I want to get the license. It's not the way around. It's a different ball game altogether. There are people who just assume that way, but it's not no more. You have been in this industry very long, and you know the complexity every day. So we can solve it, but we need to comply.
Yeah. All right, so the viewers probably aren't aware, or maybe they are aware, I'm not too sure, but what the LSSR Group is. So best if you give them a quick 2-minute pitch just to let them know. It's good for you to know.
Yeah, basically LSSR Group is a mix of all brands, I basically started with a legal company, assisting brokers getting the license, the payments and stuff. That's where we starting out. Sure, that's a part of us. That's the beginning of our story. And we grew, and we have enough reputation in the market. Then we have people we want to help people. We see that these people are struggling to advertise the brand, and they don't know how to pitch, how to strategize. We thought, okay, we bring the digital marketing company because we have expertise in that. So we kept Digital Prime as a digital marketing company, so that the brands can cooperate with digital marketing and we expand them. So that's how we try to help, because when we help, they grow, and we have more money in the next year. When they renew, they survive. It's the lifetime of the client. We actually prolong the lifetime value of the client. And then, people who start took the license, they basically need the technology, and they need liquidity on the stuff, and we are very experienced in that, and we work with many partners. Of course, we know who is a reliable partner, who is not. We know where is the risk, which is minimal, so we segregate and we present to the client. So everything we take into one place and put it, and basically we thought to put it under one brand, so that it's compact, broker in a box, or every solution, financial solution in a box. That's how we build LSSR Group.
All right, if you ever want to see an example of digital primacy's work from the LSSR Group, you can look at the Game Changers website. Fantastic to work with, great design. Vinay, who was a project manager for all, fantastic. I can't speak highly enough of him, man. He was a really great job, really, really great job.
Yeah, for me, Vinay is one of the best person I've ever worked with. He may be very young, but he's very talented.
Well, that's the thing. With this industry, it's a young industry anyway, so you can't really put an age on people and say, okay, he's 50, therefore he must be good. But when you dealt with Vinay, a legend, a real good guy to deal with, and, because I'm one of the hardest people to work with, because I have an idea, but communicating it into a schematic for a website and things like that's a different sort of skill. So he just took over all that, said, look, here's plan A, B, and C. And I'm like, okay, let's go with B, looks cool. And then comes back, beautiful design, and it's easy for an idiot like me to use. So if I can, that's the best kind of reference I give it. If an idiot like me can use it, then, anyone can.
Glad to see you're very happy with the service.
All right, mate. So last time you were on was Dubai, which I think was the 3rd or 4th edition of Prime Time. What's happened since we last seen you? Because that was about April time, I think.
Yeah, it's also about April. March or April.
So what have you got coming up, say, between now and the end of the year? Any big stories to give us?
Basically, by the time we were in Dubai, we were in the launch of LSSR Group. And so we did it right now. We streamlined and we segregated everything into one place. Yeah, moving forward, we actually are adding more products and services which are very, very demanding, and we are actually positioning ourselves to have a USP and stuff. So a few more things are adding up, like we are getting our CRM, and there are a few more things we are adding up at the moment. So to get effective price, not typically the cheap price, but the effective one with effective solutions, because from the last 4 years we try to put up the data, what people are looking for in the financial industry and what's missing with others, and we're trying to put up products that can enhance the experience of people. That's where we are placed right now. So probably in 2 months we will have 4 more products coming up from LSSR Group. Yeah.
So the CRM, you own this is your company?
Yeah, right now, yes, we are doing that. Probably soon it'll be, yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of CRMs around now. Kind of makes yours so different? It's a bit of a cruel question for me to ask, but because there are a lot out there, and to me, I'm quite a basic sort of user of them, where all I really want is accurate data kept and the ability to do mail drops, etc., with the integrated software. Will you have this sort of thing?
Yeah, we have sort of thing, but our solution is not to compete with other products of CRM. It's basically like when the client is here, we want to make it a cost effective so that he don't go out, because if the client goes out, he has dependency of support from different companies. The complexity goes very well because their CRM may be not compatible with the server, the permissions that is required. It's going to be very complex. So we're going to keep it inside so that the client, because most of the broker, let's say people starting at white label, right? So they don't have a big budget at the moment. At the beginning, they would have a cost-effective solution to put up. So we want to integrate the CRM into the system. It's not about profits here. It's about making the client less cost-effective for him. So we don't want to compete with others, but at the same time, we don't want to let the client go away.
So you've been over in Limassol for the past week. What's your impressions been since because you were here last, couple of years back, was it?
It was a couple of years back. I've been here 4 times, and I see good progress coming along. But at the same time, here financial industry changed drastically. But it's a good thing as well because the regulators are trying to find out to keep good brokers and protecting the clients. That's one positive thing. But also it limits the other side. But overall, I see the positive factor. But the limitations may make things better as well. They go comply with the regulation, and the good guys stay, and the clients are protected. So for me, Limassol is a good place to be. It's nice. I see the growth. I go the streets now. It's growing well. Yeah.
Because you were here before with another. You were working here for a couple of years. Is that right? With another brand years ago.
Yeah, I used to work as a few financial industry brokers who are very reputed here. Yeah.
So since you last come here, or since you were living here, it would have changed a lot, like with all the big buildings, so on and so forth. So finally, mate, how can people get hold of you?
Well, the best way to reach us is from our website, from lssrgroup.com. That's the best way to reach, and we are reachable anytime. Our turnaround times are very quick. Yeah.
All right, well, it's always a pleasure to see you. Hopefully, whenever I seem to meet him, it's always in a really, really hot country. So hopefully next time it'll be in a cold one like England or something like that, because I'm dying all the time.
It's hot, but it's good in the beach.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Cheers, bye.